Thank you very much. It's 2:04 p.m. June 22nd, 21. The meeting is called to order. This is our regular council meeting, and I hope that's the last virtual we are going to have. And Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Desilme? Councilman Galvin?
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy?
Here.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin?
Present.
Mayor Villarreal?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. And now we're going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance with Major Ransom Carter from the North Miami Police Department. We'll follow with the invocation by Pastor Cheryl Sejour from Gateway First Square Church, North Miami Police Department Chaplain.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Pastor Cheryl.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, first.
Wonderful. Well, greetings of respect and deep honor to you, Mayor Bien-Aimé, and the City Council and staff. It is a pleasure and an honor to bring the invocation this afternoon. Let us bow our heads and let us welcome the Lord. Lord, we just thank you that you are the creator of heaven and earth. You are the ever-present God. You are the living God. And Lord, we welcome your presence that is holy, your presence that brings truth, Lord. And we just thank you, Father God, for this wonderful city of North Miami, this city that is so diverse. And Father God, we ask that your blessing would be upon this council meeting today, that in unity, that there would be unity, Lord, in diversity. What a beautiful thing that is. We thank you for that, Lord. And we ask, Lord, that you said that in your word that if we need wisdom, that we can ask you for wisdom and that you will give it to us liberally. And so, Father, we ask that your wisdom would be bestowed upon all that happens in this council chamber today. And we know that your wisdom is pure, it is peace-loving, it is considerate, it is submissive, it is full of mercy and good fruit, it is impartial, and it is sincere. And so, Lord, we thank you that you're the all-knowing God. You know the best decision, and we know that righteousness exalts a nation. So, Lord, we thank you that right decisions would be made in our beautiful city, and that, Lord, you will command the blessing where there is righteous decisions. And so we give you thanks that you're the omnipotent God, the omnipresent God, the omniscient God. And I just close with asking, Lord, that you would unite this council team, Lord, in the name of Jesus. And we give you this last scripture. I want to speak, Lord, to the King, eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God, be the glory and the honor forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
God bless each and every one of you.
God bless you, Pastor Cheryl Sejour from Gateway First Square Church.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Major Carter. And now, Madam City Manager, do we have any addition, deletion, or amendments or deferral to the agenda?
Yes, we have additions to the agenda. We have several add-on items for appointments to the boards, to the following boards, to the Board of Adjustments, to the Newest and Abatement Board, the Planning Commission, the Personnel Board, the Community Relations, and the Charter Board we would ask that these items be considered as the items in section 9 under appointments during the meeting.
Thank you very much, Madam City Manager. By the way, can you send someone to bring us a copy of, please? So doing reports, we will do it, or just send an email.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll have that sent out.
Thank you very much. And Mr. City Attorney, we have quorum, we have an agenda set. Can we proceed?
Yes, Mayor, I believe there's a quorum of 3 of you at the City Hall, and the agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. We have special presentation, COVID-19 update by Commander Brunson, hurricane update, and after that, we're going to have the museum with the presentation. Go ahead, Commander Brunson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Commander Angelo Brinson, Emergency Management. I have a very brief update for COVID-19 as well as hurricanes. Dealing with COVID-19, even though we've come a long way since last year and we're coming out, we still have to deal with the COVID-19 vaccination and stop the spread. The best tools that we have against COVID-19 is to get vaccinated, to continue to wear a mask, and to social distance. We all have to work together to make sure that we all come out of this pandemic. For those residents who are still interested in receiving the vaccine at no cost, you can visit the Comprehensive Health Center. That's in Northwest 119th Street, just west of I-95. The address is 650 Northeast 120th Street. They're open 7 days a week between the hours of 8 and 4. Get your vaccination at no cost. Also, any public supermarket, Winn-Dixie, Walgreens, Sam's Club, or your local doctor, just anyone that wants the vaccination is available. Please do so. And for hurricane update, as we all know, the Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th. Right now, we've had 3 named storms so far. And at this time, even though we've dealt with heavy rains over the last week, there are no storms that are developing that may threaten the city of North Miami or South Florida at this time. As always, we'll continue to monitor and provide any updates as they become available or necessary. Thank you, sir, and council. That's my report for today.
Thank you very much. Any question for Commander Brunson? No question. Thank you very much, Commander.
Thank you.
And now we are going to have Shanna Sheldon, Executive Director for MOCA, with the strategic plan presentation. And we also have Mr. Lehman, Chairman of the Board of Trustees for the museum, on the line also. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Shauna Sheldon, Executive Director of MOCA. The Museum of Contemporary Art North Miami is at the conclusion of its strategic planning process. With major support from the Knight Foundation, the museum contracted Washington-based firm Cora Creative. They're leading experts in the museum field, and they've been working really closely with MOCA over the last 9 months on a strategy that will guide the museum's work for the next 5 years. Here with us today, you'll hear from Cora, represented by Principals Robert Sullivan and Maria Elena Gutierrez. They're strategic planners for the museum industry and have worked with major art institutions nationwide. MOCA has a clear mission and vision in place now. We will present innovative contemporary arts exhibitions that embrace and connect our diverse communities. And we are charging forward with a great team, regional and international recognition, and a committed board of trustees. Before diving in, MOCA's chairman, William Lehman Jr., is joining us for a few words as well.
Thank you, Shauna. I would like to just thank you, Mayor and Councilman, for allowing us the time to do this, the presentation. And thank you for appointing me chairman I guess it's almost 3 years ago. It's been a real labor of love for me to work for MOCA. I think most of you know that my dad when he was a congressman, had got the funding for the museum, at least most of it. The museum building is named after my mom. It's been part of our lives for many, many years. And this is the first time I've been really involved in it in the last 3 years, and it's been really very great for our family and very good for me. I would like to mention one thing that I just, Shauna told me about, showing our progress. We've made great progress in the last 4 years. And the outside revenue, I looked at that, and I'll just take a moment to share that with you. When I started out, it was actually 4 years ago in 2017, we obtained $425,000 in outside revenue, which includes foundation, memberships, contributions, most everything except the city money. And this year, ending shortly in 21, we're already at $1.4 million. So we do have a long way to go. We have a very committed board. You have a very big commitment from me. I appreciate this opportunity. And in fact, we're considering raising the board member dues from $10,000 to $15,000. Hope to do that in the fall. But it's been a pleasure, and call me if you have any questions or anything. I'm always available to talk about MoCA. I'd like to turn it over to Robert Sullivan, Sully, and Maria Elena Gutierrez, who really motivated the museum leadership to take the next step forward. Sully? Maria?
Thanks. Thanks, Bill. I always let my partner go first, not as a courtesy, but because I'm a little afraid of her. So, Maria Elena, would you like to introduce yourself and what you do?
Afraid of me. Hi, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting us. It's just been an extraordinary opportunity to work with a talented and creative team at MoCA at an inflection point in this institution's history and this community. So we have learned a great deal. Of course, we bring national expertise and a lot of case studies to the table, but you guys have a jewel and a very exciting future. So thank you again for your confidence. Thank you, Shauna, Bill, Mayor, everybody. And I'm going to let my partner present just a few slides of the conclusion of our work. As Shauna said, it was 9 months. So thank you.
Yeah, let me give you a quick overview of the strategy going forward and what the museum has in mind. Can we look at the next slide, please? Here's where we are in the process. We're really pulling the plan finally together. The staff has worked very hard to establish its strategic directions as well as the specific key outcomes that it will accomplish over the next 3 years. So it's not a plan that doesn't include very specific activities and ambitious activities for the staff to accomplish. And we're putting all of that together right now, and we'll be finishing in the next several weeks. Okay, next. We do work all over the country, and North Miami is in an enviable position, having such a talented and established contemporary art museum right in the middle of downtown at the very point that you want to redevelop downtown and make it into something special for the whole region. MoCA is one of those assets that's really going to make that work. I know you appreciate that fact because you have consistently invested in MoCA over the years with those hard-earned tax dollars. MoCA, I believe, and we've looked very carefully at its impact, social and economic, that MoCA pays back that investment with a serious return. So it's really an investment on the part of the city, and a very smart one going forward. Okay, next slide. So we looked at the 2.5 mile radius as the really close-in target, although outside tourists, including from outside areas of the region of Miami and up to Fort Lauderdale, as well as national and international tourists, the goal of the plan is to establish MoCA as a contemporary art destination, to bring people into the city, to bring foot traffic into the retail, to provide a real asset for the residential people living in the region, as well as the tourist audiences that are coming from a distance. So it really intends, through the plan and through its hard work, to be a social and economic engine for the region. Okay, next. So you see here in this slide, I want to emphasize the importance of the plaza as a critical part of the MoCA asset. It is a park in and of itself, but it also is one of those rare open spaces in the middle of an urban setting. Open spaces that become available for festivals, for cross-cultural performances like the jazz nights that they put on now, for family events, food festivals that will draw thousands of people to downtown Miami. So one of the issues in the plan is how to activate not just the plaza, but the public spaces throughout downtown, the parks, the schools. How do we use the arts to activate all of those spaces and create an image and brand of North Miami as a place for the arts? Okay, next. The core strategic directions are those really basic strategic outcomes that the board will especially pay attention to. They're the big issues. And that's all we're going to focus on, not the details of the rest of the plan, but just these big strategic directions that will guide the board and measure progress going forward. Number one, build the brand. Get MoCA's name and reputation on a both regional and national basis to create programs and exhibitions that draw attention to North Miami and that establish North Miami as a contemporary art mecca. So building that brand and making sure that the media, social media, digital media, print media, television media are all covering the events that are happening at MoCA. Okay, next. Triple the audience. This is ambitious, but we feel that with the increased programming that's going to happen as a result of this plan, the incredible exhibitions that they will produce, the kind of family and other festivals that they will produce in the plaza, the reaching out to the schools, the digital capability that they will develop and take care of, all of that together is going to triple the audience, with a special focus on bringing foot traffic into downtown North Miami. Okay, next. Connecting the community is the third strategic direction. This is not just reaching out to the community and having the community respond to MoCA, but being a place of social cohesion. A jazz night, say, for instance, brings this community together from all different angles, different ethnic groups, different ages, families, music lovers of all sorts will come to these kinds of performances on the plaza. So it will not only be a magnet for the community, it will be a force of social cohesion, a place where people can come together and experience and have conversations about contemporary art, contemporary music, even contemporary theater and other forms of art that will be that are in this plan. Okay, next. Increase and diversify funding sources. Clearly, the city's investment in MoCA is extremely important, but they have to build that private funding source, build those donations that Bill was talking about, really get the board active and committed to bringing new and diverse funding into the coffers so that they can accomplish the pieces of work that they have in the plan. And finally, integrate diversity, inclusion, equity, and access everywhere. MoCA is dedicated to becoming a model for DIA, to really be a place that sets a standard for DIA, both in terms of its policy and practices and in terms of its programs. Okay, we can kind of rush through the next slides because we've kind of covered most of the talking points. So again, building the brand, tripling the audience, connecting the community, diversifying funding, and becoming a model for DIA in all of its operations and activities. So that's the really guts of the plan. That's the skeletal part of the plan that the board will be paying close attention to making sure there's steady progress on each of those core strategic directions going forward. And I hope each of you has seen in each of these strategic directions a direct payoff for the city. This is not something that's just going to be internal to MOCA. The plan is really designed to make sure the city understands this is an asset and an investment, and they plan on doing a powerful return on that investment, both socially through how it connects the community, but also economically through how it directs foot traffic and other kinds of tourism into North Miami. Okay, next. Thank you very much, and we are available for any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Council members, any questions? Any comments? Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation. And let's move forward with MOCA. And I was impressed the other day when I see your budget and how much money you was able to raise even in the middle of the pandemic. That's mean we invest in MOCA and we start seeing progress. And thank you guys, and see you next time.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Shanna. Thank you. Thank you very much. No more presentation. Now, let's move to Madam Clerk with the consent agenda, comprised of tab 8 and 8.
Unless a member of the City Council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through H constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through H be adopted.
Sorry, can I hear a motion on the consent?
So moved.
Is there any? Okay, thank you.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much.
Tab I, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of Interstate Construction, LLC, as the lowest responsive responsible contractor to furnish materials, equipment, tools, machinery, supervision, expertise, and services required to perform bridge repair projects. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with the selected contractor, and the total amount not to exceed $155,625 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 41-20-21, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab I.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab I.
Thank you for attending this afternoon's virtual regular council meeting. This meeting will allow live public comment by attendees. Public hearing will take place upon announcement by the chair of the meeting, and from that time, attendees will be able to virtually raise their hand. And this should function similarly to lining up at the podium. If you're participating by phone, please press *9 if you would like to raise your hand. When it is your turn to speak, a PIN will be sent to you. Enter that PIN to unmute yourself when you hear your name called. Attendees cannot leave their hand raised throughout the entire meeting, so if you raise your hand before an item is read, it will be removed. Do not forget to state your full name and complete address for the record. And remember that you will have up to 2 minutes to make your comment. Thank you in advance for your understanding and your feedback.
Thank you very much.
If you would like to make a
Still open
comment.
to the public. Yes, ma'am.
If you'd like to make a comment on this item, please raise your hand at this time. If you are dialing in by phone, please press *9 now.
Public hearing on tab I is open.
Mayor, we do not have any previously submitted comments nor any hands raised on this item.
Thank you very much. Council members, do you have any question or do you want to hear the presentation, or can we move forward if everybody's okay with tab I?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I hear a motion to approve tab I?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Tab J, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Florida approving fiscal year 2021-2022 annual action plan under the CDBG and home programs, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab J.
Thank you very much. Tab J is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab J.
If you would like to speak on this item, please raise your hand at this time. If you're dialing in by phone, please press *9 now. Mayor, there are no hands raised on this item and there were no previously submitted comments.
Thank you very much. Council members, do we have any questions or do you can we move forward? If yes, can I hear a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab J. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Tab K, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the conveyance of the city-owned property located at 1270 Northwest 123rd Street to the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, NMCRA, further authorizing the city manager to execute a warranty deed and any other necessary closing documents for the conveyance of the property, providing an effective date and all other purposes. Tab K.
Thank you very much. Tab K is open to the public. Public hearing is open on tab K.
If you wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand at this time. If you are calling in by phone, please press *9 now. Mayor, we do not have any previously submitted comments on this item, nor any hands raised at this moment.
Thank you very much, council members. Yes, Councilwoman Timothy.
Through the mayor to staff, I noticed that this was on the CRA's agenda. Is it proper for the CRA to accept it first and then after the fact we convey it? Or was there, I noticed that it was on CRA and now we're conveying it to CRA, but we've already accepted it in the consent agenda. Just wanted to make sure that that was proper.
Through the mayor, Councilwoman, it would probably procedurally be better if the city went first and then agreed and then it went to the CRA. However, with the timing and the fact that we're pretty much down to one meeting, if we go to hiatus, we felt that it was best to just do everything today. So, it's all being done today, so the timing really shouldn't matter.
Okay, no problem. And the second thing, my second question is, by what process are we doing this? Because we conveyed a project to the CRA and now the CRA is going to essentially rehab it and sell this process. So it looks like we are, we foreclose on this property. Now we're handing it over to the CRA to do what they please with it. Is there a process that we're following for this?
Councilwoman, so let me back up. So this the way we got here is back in May of 2018. This is one of the properties, if I remember correctly, this is one of the properties we identified through the Clean City Task Force as being a problem property. So we went to the council and were given authority on May 2018 to go ahead and foreclose on the property. We foreclosed on the property. It went to sale. I don't believe anyone purchased it, and so at that point, we had an issue of, what do we do with this property? No one purchased it at foreclosure. Fortunately, there was a discussion between the manager and the CRA director. I believe she was at the time looking for projects to do, and it just so happened that they were willing to take on this project as a rehab. And so it was kind of an informal discussion between the city and the CRA is how we got here. Prior to that, I can't give you the dates, but I know on at least 3 occasions, the city attorney's office, and I think also through the Clean City Task Force, we presented resolutions to come up with a process to on how we dispose of properties like this. I don't believe on 3 occasions. I don't believe that there was any vote ever taken on it. So we don't have a formal process. And in this case, we just use the informal process of discussions between CRA and the city to do this. That's how we got here.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Just moving forward, I think just to keep the city out of trouble or just to kind of streamline the process, if we can have one in place when we're conveying land, leasing land, selling land, so that there's a formal process that everyone can follow. And I would like to, if I have to sponsor an ordinance or resolution, I'm more than happy to do so.
We can work with you after the meeting to come back up with another resolution, Councilman.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No more questions. Can I have a motion to move forward with tab K?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab K. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Smithy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries with a 4-0 vote. Tab L, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, establishing the return of traditional in-person meetings of the city council and all city boards, commissions, and committees, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab L.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Councilman Galvin, that's been, and you sponsor this resolution. That's been, we're going back to 7 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. That's when we're going back to normal. You want to add anything, Councilman Galvin? Sorry, Madam Clerk.
Only want to add that I'll be disappointed I start to having to wear pants to city council meetings again.
Thank you very much. Now let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open in tab. Yes, Madam. Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
No, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I'll just wait till after the public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab L.
If you wish to speak on this item and you're dialing in by phone, please press *9 now. If you are participating through the application, please raise your hand at this time by clicking on the raised hand icon.
Public hearing is open on tab L.
Mayor, we do not have any previously submitted comments on this item, nor do we have any hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Thank you. To the maker of the motion, Councilman Scott Galvin, I am in support of this, but only thing is I'd like to see if we could amend it so that we come back after the recess, that we do it from our regular 7 p.m. and in person, if that's okay with you.
What's your reasoning for that?
So we have one more council meeting. And it also gives us time to basically really make sure that we can figure how we're going to accept people coming in, how we're going to be ourselves, and giving people time to take the vaccines and whatever else. So that's why I'm asking for that, please.
I really would like us to come back now. I think we're sort of overdue. Many cities have already been meeting in person. We can leave the protocol stuff to staff.
So are you declining my?
Yeah, don't take it personally.
Right, I understand, but we really have just one more meeting, you know, and we have a recess and we come back and everything, you know, like you said, we'll leave it to staff to really handle all the details, but we just have one more meeting. If you could consider that, I would appreciate it. But that's all I have to say.
But the problem, there is something, and Councilwoman Estime Irvin, everything is open, courthouse is open, and we may be in trouble by stay virtual. That's why, and I think I don't want to be in trouble, and I prefer that we come back as soon as possible. Please, if you can.
I would hope that our city attorney wouldn't let us get in trouble, but I'm not trying to have us circumvent any laws or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking for just a little bit more time for people to make sure that people are vaccinated, for us to also, you know, the way that we're going to be receiving the constituents or anyone else, the stakeholders in our chambers. And that's all that I'm asking for. Again, I'm not opposed to us meeting back. I just want to make it clear. I'm not opposed to that. All I'm just saying, we have one more meeting. Let's just, you know, end it with the virtual that's in 2 weeks. And then when we come back in, I guess in August, we'll be full-fledged again. And by that time, we will have it right. That's all that I'm suggesting.
Question. Mayor?
Yes.
Mayor, to staff, city manager, are we prepared to go in person in July? So in terms of what are our protocols are going to be for the public? I know the county sometimes has people outside for public forum. Once inside is packed, are we going to be at JCC? Just wanted to know from administration, are you guys prepared to start July 13th?
So for administration, we would obviously try to prepare as soon as we could for July. There's a couple of considerations that we've had to make. We had tried previously. JCC is not an option in terms of what would need to happen in order to have that additional space. In order to have live attendees, we would be working on a limitation of the attendees and looking towards using some of the outside lobby as some of the spaces to hold in case those wanted to come in. So what we would probably be suggesting is a hybrid of being able to allow those to come on virtually and to have a smaller amount of attendees. So we'll have some increased security. We will have to limit to about 24 attendees total in the space in the room, and it would have to be in the chambers, and we'll have to use the outside lobby. So in that sense, we'll still be requiring masks, as we are continuing to require masks in the building. So masks will be required, and there will be a limited number that can come here. We will work our best to try to prepare for July, if that is the will of the council.
And you also mentioned additional security, so that comes with additional costs, I'm assuming, to safeguard us in terms of, you know, meeting in person.
Yes, we've kept it to minimal, but we will have some level of additional cost to make sure that we can maintain safety and spacing.
Okay.
Thank you very much. But I see a lot of cities open up. That means we just got to see what the other cities are doing so we can adjust. It's not like we're going to invent anything for us. We go to parties and we do everything. Why not just come in to do the people work? Thank you very much. And can I hear a motion on tab L?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Through the mayor, prior to moving on,
Tab M.
just want to alert the public that we will plan to post on our website what the new
The
protocol
guideline.
will be. Yeah, and the guidelines for the in-person meetings.
Okay. We have two lobbies. That's mean the first floor and the second floor. We can use them by putting a microphone or some type of communication plus whatever is going to be inside of our chamber. That's how I see other cities are doing it. Also, thank you very much, Madam City Manager. When it comes to tab M, I think that's an item that's extremely important to Councilman Alex Desilmay. And if he's not able to log in, I think we're going to table tab M until the next agenda, because we want to give him the courtesy of addressing this item, tab M, since he's not available. Thank you very much, Mr. Estrade.
I just hope that that same courtesy is granted to any one of us if we're not available. Just saying. Thank you.
For your district? Oh, if you say you won't be available, it's something.
This is not district related. This is citywide related. But I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do we vote on tabling that item, or do we just?
Okay, I make a motion to table the item until the next council.
Oh, you made a motion. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
I have a motion made by Mayor Bienemy to table the item at tab M until the next agenda. It was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Any opposed? Councilwoman Timothy, do you have something to say?
No, I'm opposed.
Okay. The motion carries with a 3-1 vote. So the item is tabled.
Thank you. Are we done?
Tab N, a proposed second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending Article 4, Employees Retirement System, ordinance number 691, and Article 5, Police Pension Plan, 8, amending section 15-63, miscellaneous provisions, amending.
Can we go on a minute?
Alberto, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh.
Tab N, a proposed second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending Article 4, Employees Retirement System, ordinance number 691, and Article 5, Police Pension Plan, ordinance number 748, amending section 15-63, miscellaneous provisions, amending section 15-96, mandatory distribution date, amending section 15-100, retirement incentive program, amending section 15-103, miscellaneous provisions, amending section 15-135, mandatory distribution date, amending section 15-143, state funds in place, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date, tab N.
Thank you very much. That's the second reading. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab N.
If you wish to speak on this item and you're dialing in on the phone, please press *9. Getting through the application, please click on the hand icon or the raised hand icon.
Public hearing on tab N.
Mayor, there are no previously submitted comments on this item, and there are no hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Council members, do you have any question at the second reading? If none, can I hear a motion to approve tab N?
So moved.
And a second?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab N. The motion. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desilme is absent. Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Urban, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Tab O.
Tab O, a proposed second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending volume 1, goals, objectives, and policies of the city of North Miami 2036 comprehensive plan, specifically by amending objective 1.20 of the future land use element and the official 2036 future land use map to extend the boundary of the special development and transit oriented development TOD overlay district southward by 17 parcels of real property, approximately 9.9 acres in size, bounded by Northeast 18th Avenue on the west, Northeast 146th Street to the north, and Northeast 143rd Street to the south to encourage compact, mixed-use, transit-oriented development in accordance with Section 163.3184, Section 163.3187, Section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses capital C, Florida Statutes 2020. And Article 3, entitled Development Review, Division 3, Section 3-302, Sections 31104 through 3-31107, Section 3-1109, and Section 3-1110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab O.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab O.
If you wish to speak on the item at tab O, please press *9 now if you are dialing in by phone. And if you are participating through the application, please click on the raise hand icon.
Public hearing is still open on tab O.
Mayor, we do not have any previously submitted comments at this time, nor do we have any hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. Council members, at the second reading, can I have a motion to approve if there is no question?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mayor, for the record, as of 2:52, Councilman Desilme is present.
Thank you.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Urban to approve the item at tab O. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Councilwoman Estime Urban, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Tab P.
Tab P, a proposed second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 1 entitled General Provisions, specifically at section 1-106 entitled Official Zoning Map to extend southward the boundary of the Special Development and Transit Oriented Development TOD overlay district by 17 parcels of real property, approximately 9.9 acres in size, bounded by Northeast 18th Avenue on the west, Northeast 146th Street to the north, and Northeast 143rd Street to the south, to encourage compact mixed-use transit-oriented development. In accordance with section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses, capital C, Florida statutes 2020, and sections 3-1002, 3-1003, 3-1005 through 3-1007, and section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, declaring the zoning map amendment to be consistent with the city comprehensive plan, further authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab P.
Thank you very much. That's the second reading. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab P.
If you wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand now. If you are on the phone, press star 9.
Tab P is open to the public.
Mayor, there are no hands raised on this item and no previously submitted comments.
Thank you very much. That's the second reading. That's an accompanying item of tab O. If there is no question, can I hear a motion to approve tab P?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab P. The motion was seconded by Councilman Desolme. Mayor Bien-Aimé, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desolme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
The motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Since Councilman Desolme
I
has
have a question.
Since Councilman Desolme is back, I didn't know if he wanted to circle back to the Red Garden item. We had continued it to the next meeting. I didn't know if you want extra time or if you want to do it today.
Not doing report, you will address his comment on the item, and we will hear that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have discussion. Regarding the American Rescue Plan Fund.
Tab Q, discussion regarding the American Rescue.
Oh.
You'd be great at this, Mayor.
Let me hear that.
Mayor.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Wanted to have a discussion with the American Rescue Plan funding. As you guys were previously advised, we were given a funding amount that totals about approximately $19.3 million over the next couple of years. The first half of the disbursement was dispersed to the city at the first week of June, and the second half to be dispersed within 12 months. Just before this meeting, I did send a memo. We've been working through with our consultants and with the staff, just so that you know that this is pretty fluid, as this is a new process for our consultants and for us in terms of how the funding is working. We have been working through some ideas and preliminary recommendations for the spending of the allocation. Of note is that we are allowed to make some recommendations with respect to our general loss of revenues if those losses are being used for general services. So one of the first things that we put aside, that I put as a recommendation aside, is a general fund stabilization amount of 9.7. That number is what we've been able to calculate as of the March 2020 date to now. The allocation is going forward, which means that number could be fluid in terms of additional walk. The other aspect to consider is that we can submit programs in some respects, and in some areas it may be best to use monies that we've been able to recollect from our loss of revenues in order to do programs that we'd like to do, which is why this is fluid currently. So we looked at the different areas where funding is allowed, and I've captured about economic stabilization, health and human services, infrastructure, public safety, and youth and education opportunities. The attachment to the memo has a more deep sheet of some of the findings that we found in terms of what would be areas of need. Some of these have come through conversations that we've had in terms of asking the council where we think that the needs are growing. And in general, some of them are just needs that our city has had and the country has had in general. And so we're looking to do a lot of those programs. Of highlight are going to be a few things. In economic stabilization, we're looking for utility assistance to residents, which previously we were not able to capture under the CARES Act based on the rules. We've looked at some additional mortgage and rental assistance. We've looked at business grant assistance, and also job training and programs and certificates under economic stabilization. We have an approximate total cost, but we'll be going through and working with you and the staff in terms of getting final numbers on the economic stabilization. In the health and human services aspect, we looked at one of the programs that we had originally under the CARES Act, which is our grocery gift card, to have some additional monies for hot meals and food distribution. As you know, we've had strong food insecurity. We've also looked at immigration services for residents, mental health workshops that would also include for employees as well, and to add additional senior programs in the health and human services area. Under infrastructure, we looked at flood mitigation. It's important to note that as of currently, we don't have any flood mitigation projects that were ready to go. So that meant that in order to start the process of any flood mitigation in any of our areas, we would need to start a design process. Because the funds can be used for infrastructure, we are making a preliminary recommendation to start flood mitigation design in 4 different problem areas that are strong areas, including the Northeast 5th Avenue from Northeast 140th Street to 142nd Street, the Northeast 3rd Court, Northeast 131st Street to Northeast 135th Street, the Biscayne Canal East area, Northeast 3rd Court from Northeast 135th Street to Northeast 139th Street, and also the Arch Creek South, Northeast 10th Avenue to Northeast 11th Court. The preliminary design looked at those areas. We find those to be like approximately about $200,000 each. If we were to move forward with this, we would have to come back to the council to look to see which projects we could afford under that as well, because this would be the design spot. The other thing that we looked at in infrastructure was mobile hotspots in our checkout program. Earlier this year, we used some CARES Act to help with the mobile hotspots so that there could be access across with the residents. We would extend that hotspot for the devices that they could check out at the library that help with programs in those areas. We also looked at general broadband infrastructure in the parks and in the downtown area that we haven't had. Those come at high cost, but just to look at where we are, our census showed that only 69% of our North Miami residents had access to the internet. So during the time of COVID, where we were staying at home, that is significantly low in comparison to other neighboring cities like Miami Shores, Bay Harbor, and Miami Lakes that are upwards of 90%. So we would be looking to make some changes to broadband infrastructure in those areas, and also additional technology improvements citywide so that we could have more reliable infrastructure. There are several capital investments in parks, and as you know, during the time that we've been reducing our budget capital infrastructure and maintenance usually goes undetermined. So we've looked at some of the vital areas in our parks facilities that needed repair, and that we'd be suggesting some recommendations there. There's also critical infrastructure improvements with respect to MOCA, some of our filtering systems for fresh air and purifier. And we'd also be looking at a program to enhance septic to sewer conversion, which has to do with also health and safety as well as infrastructure. Another area that we're looking at is maintenance has increased due to the number of backups. We've had more backups, grease and cooking oil, and a lot of additional to our systems. And we would be looking at possibly bringing in a new back truck to fix those improvements. And then generally the infrastructure improvements to include water, wastewater, and stormwater. We're expecting to do some of those programs depending on whether or not we move forward for design. In the public safety area, we would be able to address illegal dumping through the cameras and a purchase program, and also to enhance our public safety protocols, which we have used significant police and additional vaccinations and food distributions, and that has come at a cost, additional cost to the city. And also to look at hazard pay. In terms of youth and educational opportunities, we'd be looking at being able to bring in the 24-hour library services, to have some financial literacy courses and sessions, and to have the laptop computer program during the time that we have back to school, and also to bring in like a tutor program. So there's several programs here. What we would like is I'd like to continue to have a discussion or to bring up any other additional items that you'd like to see on here, or that you'd like to see to add to do a program. We would plan to bring a full item in July that would allow the city administration to move forward with a variety of programs. Please keep in mind these would not all be done during this year time frame, mainly because we would not be given all of the funding. We've only been given 9.6 of the funding. And we have recognized that at least 5.5 million will be needed going forward in the coming year for our general fund, just to have stabilization and to recover lost revenues. So at this time, we also have our consultant that's available if you have any questions. But I wanted to present this to the council and then hear any feedback, questions, or concerns that you might have.
Thank you very much, Madam City Manager. And I think the best way of doing it, if you can send us, I receive something from another city and from the county where they show exactly everything we can do with the money, so we can know exactly what's important for each council member, so we can make recommendation based on that.
Yeah.
Because if we know exactly what can be done with the money, so we can make a better recommendation.
Through Mayor, earlier this week, we sent you the full announcement from the federal that gave all of the available fundings that we could use it for. It was upwards of about a 20 to 30 page document. It includes what they allowed and also included the additional guidance. We're using that guidance as well through this, so that's all in there. You'll find that most of this is encompassing pretty much every category that's available, but there was a comprehensive guidance that was sent out.
Thank you.
We're happy to review it.
Thank you. Send it to me again, please. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, Councilman Galvin.
Thank you. To staff, to the city manager, I'd like to have a separate discussion just quickly to learn what programs will include District 1. Just want to make sure that we're, represented at that table.
Great. Will do.
It's Councilwoman Timothy.
Yes, and also I know I met with the manager regarding this because I did receive the memo, so thank you. I also want to know in terms of this funding? How are we limited like the CARES Act? I know we had to spend it by a certain amount. So giving us the timeline to ensure how we're going to spend these dollars as well. But I did review it. What you guys came up with was great, especially the need for increased Wi-Fi and broadband, because if you don't have the broadband, if you don't have the Wi-Fi, we can't continue on virtually. So thank you.
So with respect to your question about timing, a lot of this funding can go through to be used in 2024. What's different from last time in the CARES Act, there were a lot of deadlines. As you recall, we had to use some of the funding by December 30th of 2020. This time we have more time. However, we have more reporting periods. So our first reporting with respect to how we plan to use the funding starts in August. But we would have to report to the federal government in August about how we would want to use the money preliminarily, and there will be periodic checks. But we can now use our programs and use our money out through 2024. The important thing to know also is though we can't necessarily expect that we get additional funding. The 19.3 would probably be the total of funding from now through 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Desulme?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you could hear me.
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, one of the issues that I had, Madam Manager, is the list that you provided. I know some of them, I did read some of the memo that you released, but I do want to meet separately to see what's in there specifically for District 4, because I do have some concerns in terms of the programming that you have. I wish that you had met with me, because I did say I was going to provide you a list of programs that I wanted to see. And one of the programs that I did mention, that you did mention, was the broadband program. But so I wanted to talk a little bit more about that to see if you and I have the same vision, because I don't want you and I to be in competition in terms of policy making. So I do want to put that out clear. That
Councilman there was a slight echo, so it was a little bit hard
to hear. I'm sorry, it's probably where I am. The broadband is not very, very good. Are you able to hear me now?
Which program did you mention, sir? I couldn't hear the program that you mentioned.
Yes, in terms of the broadband. Well, I want to, sit down and do go over the list in terms of to see what's in for my particular district in terms of the overall number. But I did mention to you in terms of the broadband, because I do have one of the initiatives that I did talk about is a broadband program for the city in terms of when we mentioned it was in reference to crime, we were talking about in terms of broadband. So I do applaud that it made the list, but I do want to see if it's the same program that we do have. But I do want to go over the list and see what are some of the initiatives that you have, if it does go very well in terms of my priority and the district's priority. So I look forward in us sitting down and see how we can, I guess, merge the list or whatever that we could do to see what we do for the residents. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yes.
Councilman, definitely, yes, the broadband was inclusive of our conversation, and it would include a lot of that area, and where we're missing that, it should cover a good portion of the city, and I'll have a separate meeting. We can go through some of the other ones. And as you also, we had discussed some of the additional cameras that we wanted in areas for illegal putting that's part of it.
Yes, cameras. I know the CRA had already committed that they will do the cameras. So, but I want to, have this separate conversation.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, the broadband is specifically not in terms of the hotspot, but more of specifically HubSpot, where folks could log on, like you said. But I do appreciate the reference in terms of where we get more coverage for more residents because we know some kids had some problems in terms of the parents had to stay back from school because they had to use their phone as hotspot for some of the kids to do what they needed to do. So that was one of the reasons that I was passionate about the broadband. So I do applaud that in terms of this money. But I want to see overall, because you mentioned 4 spots in the funding for, I believe it's the first priority item that you had mentioned. I don't recall the actual name item. And there's 2 of the areas, I believe it's the, oh gosh, I don't recall, but you did mention 4 of the item. I don't know if you got it from Public Works, where the list comes from. So I do want to see that list from Public Works in terms of priority, in terms of infrastructure.
Respect the flood mitigation? Yes.
The flood mitigation, correct, I'm sorry, yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Thank you. So I just have a question, Madam City Manager. Thank you for the presentation. If we vote on this item today,
We're
is
not
there an opportunity
voting.
to amend?
No, it's a discussion, it's not voting.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's just a discussion, it's not, yeah.
Okay. I apologize. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'd like to continue. I too would like to continue a discussion with you in private about what we're going to do for District 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we would plan to bring, after having discussions with everyone, the administration would bring an item in July so that it could be all encompassing and that we could move forward with all of the initiatives all at once on all encompassing.
But I hope before you bring that item and you present the coffer to council members, so we know exactly how the deficit would look like under COVID, so we don't take the money and spend it on a lot of service when in reality we need to offset our deficit. And I had my briefing today and we're late, but before we send the coffer out, I think every council members need to be aware exactly on where we are with our financial situation. And Madam City Manager, also, I expect, I would like for you to send me a memo about the reason why you don't want to sign the coffer. And before I sign, I need every council members to be aware of it. And you can send me a memo explaining the reason why you don't want to sign it. So before I sign the coffer. Look, I mean, I see we're talking about programs and things like that. But as far as, yes.
So Mayor, if I can be clear, I signed the CAFR. I reviewed and signed the CAFR. So the CAFR has been reviewed and signed off on. Secondly, with respect to these numbers, as you will see in this, I have put aside.
When did you sign the CAFR?
A few last week Friday, I signed the CAFR. I had my meeting with I had the meeting separately with the auditors.
The problem is, you've been fighting with me to sign it, and I decided not to sign, and I decided I don't want to sign it before I talk to the auditor, and you didn't tell me that you signed it. And usually the way when we have the CAFR, every council members are aware of exactly what is in the CAFR. If we're comfortable with it, then after that, the administration sign it and send it out. Today, that's when I had my meeting after asking questions, so many questions about the CAFR. That's when finally I was able to meet with the auditor and be aware of exactly what is in the CAFR. I don't know if other council members already receive it, but I've been asking for it for quite some time, and nobody want to give it to me until you said you're going to bring it for me to sign. And I say, I'm not going to sign it before I can see it. And today I just learned that you sign it and send it out.
Sir, there are two people who can sign a CAFR. It's either the.
We know that. I know that.
Okay.
I know that. But you bring it to me for me to sign, and I say I'm not gonna sign it before I can see exactly what's in there. And I set up a meeting with the auditor, and just right now you're telling me that you signed and you sent it. That's my problem. I know you can sign, but you didn't tell me you was gonna do that. And now let's, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open it to the public for citizen forum. So after that, we can have every council members on the report if they have questions. Madam Clerk, citizen forum.
All right, Judy Brown, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace, North Miami, Florida, 33168. I am seeking information in regard to the solid waste plant that is located at Northwest 125th Street and Northwest 11th Avenue. My first question is this facility working? For months, the Public Works Department has had as many two pumps at once at this location. I am concerned because the failure of this facility would be catastrophic for the residents in District 4. I have complaints about this facility for years, and the only thing Public Works have done is to take a bandage approach by this is mean patching it up until the next time. This plant is over 50 years old and outdated. My approach is to be proactive rather than reactive. This and other solid waste plants in this city are in dire need of replacing, and I know that this is a long process, but if no one is willing to start the process, then we, the residents, will suffer the consequence, which will be waste backing up in our homes, and no one wants that. I am asking that the mayor and council to have the director of public works to inform the residents of District 4 about the function of this plant. If the pumps have failed, will these pumps be replaced in this outdated facility? How long would these pumps be hooked up to in the street? The members of my association have been asking me these questions and I need to be able to respond, but I did not know. Therefore, I am coming to the mayor and council seeking information regarding the solid waste plant that is located at Northwest 125th Street and Northwest 11th Avenue. Thank you for your time. Judy Brown, Sunkist Grove Neighborhood Association.
That's all you have, Madam Clerk.
1 second, Mayor.
Mayor?
Yes.
Before the clerk reads the following comments, I just want to put it on the record. There were some comments at the last meeting that were received by the city, but they were not read into the record. The way for us to cure that issue is to read them now. So you're going to hear some comments that have nothing to do with today's meeting, but they are being read into the record to make sure that we cure the issue we had previously.
Okay.
Juana Picardo, to whom it may concern, to help mitigate the parking traffic issues we have been facing because of the new developments taking place in the area, we would like to keep our community safe and maintain a good quality of life. It would be safe to suggest that the swell areas be remodeled with some sort of parking barrier and add more lighting to some streets that lack lighting poles or where lighting poles are not working. Thanks for your attention to this matter. This letter is to share proposed solutions of resident concerns living in the 4th Avenue Northeast 126th Street cul-de-sac located in historic Griffin Parks Estates of the new rental apartment project that will be built in the empty lot between 470 Northeast 26th Street and 475 Northeast 25th Street. The front of the building will directly face the Presidente Supermarket and the back of the building will be facing the 126th cul-de-sac. This rental apartment project will have 20 new rental apartments, which will house an average of 3 people each, totaling 81 additional residents and their guests. As this project has received CRA community redevelopment funds, it is the council's fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the apartment project will in fact aid in the redevelopment of the community and not instead add to the degradation of the community and its residents. There are current talks of opening walkways, and although that may seem like a good idea, walkways in and out of this neighborhood have been closed in the past for a good reason. Below are just two incidents that have occurred in the neighborhood in the past. In both of these incidents, the perpetrators have used the cul-de-sac to escape and hide after committing crimes. Armed robbery at the Family Dollar on 125th Street on October 24, 2013. An armed robbery at North Miami Urgent Care on February 10, 2017. One of these two walkways was permanently closed by the city, and the other walkway the city paid for a 7-foot high by 100-foot long wall to protect the homeowners from the criminal activity occurring in the walkway. Additional to that, there have been countless home and car break-ins throughout the years. It is because of these incidents the city has taken it upon themselves to close walkways and protect the residents from the poorly visible passages that allow for criminal activity, drug use, sex work, and littering. Now, this apartment project is proposing to add a new walkway without understanding that they have historically been a bad idea, but will also promote illegal parking in the cul-de-sacs. Long-term homeowners of the neighborhood are not opposed to the apartment project, but would like the council to take measures now to mitigate the risk of traffic, blight, and crime that will endanger the health and safety of our children and families. Mayor, there is more to this, and it will be obviously added into the record. I forgot to mention that this is a comment by Maria Ritter. There is more, and will be added into the record. If you wish that I continue, I can, but if not.
Yes,
okay.
Let's move on and finish it then.
In order to ensure that traffic and crime is not exponentially added to what is now a common tranquil family cul-de-sac, we would like the council to ensure that the vehicle exit of the rental apartment complex on 126 is for emergency use only, or it will cause an exponential amount of traffic to the cul-de-sac. Ensure that the pedestrian walkway of the rental apartment complex on 126 is an emergency-only exit, or it will facilitate illegal parking on the cul-de-sac. Ensure that the rental apartment builders provide landscaping around the parking lot that will face the 126th Street cul-de-sac with foliage that will be visually appealing and fit in aesthetically with the cul-de-sac's existing landscape. Install tow-away signs deterring illegal parking around the cul-de-sac, and also place signs on 125th directing traffic towards the free city parking on West 60 next to the Presidente supermarket, of which there is plenty. Redesign the existing crosswalk in order to provide a safer pedestrian crosswalk across 125th, as well as to incentivize legal parking at these free city parking spaces. Provide landscaping that surrounds the cul-de-sac to beautify and deter illegal parking. Community residents understand the purpose of the CRA to realize a vision of a greater, thriving North Miami, but also of all North Miami residents to invest time and effort to provide firsthand experience and feedback in support of this vision. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. Hello, my name is Marvin Escano. I live in 13055 Emerald Drive, apartment 4, North Miami, Florida, 33181. I am texting regarding Johnson & Wales University and the lights in the parking garage. Annoying, they shine just right in our windows. Oh, they shine just right in our windows and patio. We can't enjoy our backyard because of the lights and noise that loud. Most of the time, we would like they to solve that. Please, by covering them somehow. Thank you so much. Demetria Zunzunegi, 13095 Emerald Drive, number Miami, Florida, 33181. I am writing because the huge parking garage lights are very bright. I have been living on Emerald Drive for over 8 years. The noise and huge glare from those lights is very annoying, especially when I'm trying to relax after work outside my backyard, which is directly across the canal. Please put shades or something to fix this problem. Thank you. I see that we have a hand raised for Citizens Forum. If you too would like to speak during Citizens Forum, please raise your hand at this time. If you're dialing in by phone, please press star 9. Mr. Kenneth Each, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record, and remember that you have 2 minutes within which to make your comment.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, Councilman Galvin, Councilman Timothy, Councilwoman Timothy, Mary Irvine, and our great councilperson from the West Side. I want to congratulate you people that just got elected and re-elected, and thank you for steering the ship of state. I want to thank Scott Galvin, and I want to thank the mayor for standing up for the city. I read your article in the Sunday Miami Herald, and I thank you. And I wholeheartedly agree with you guys that we should have a master plan. This is absolutely preposterous for the developers to come in here and IMC equity, et cetera, to come in here and think that we're just going to reoccupy these buildings. I've been here going on almost 50 years living in this neighborhood. And I remember when, before Johnson & Wales came here, what a terrible neighborhood we had. Lakeside, the beautiful apartment over there, was run down. We used to get 200 calls a year for service in the police department. Some of these low rises are unfit to live in. They were great for students, for dormitories, but they're substandard for apartments. And I think it's about time that we do have a master plan and redevelop this area. You know, we have a transportation overlay and we have a transportation hub at 123rd Street that we want to develop. And now is the time for this council to say, look, let us get a master plan and let's have a compact urban center here east of the railroad tracks. Let us develop a transportation hub where the Urban Land Institute said we should work, live, and play in the same neighborhood. I'm not against going high. I'm not against developing high-rise buildings and putting the parking garages underneath it and having multi-use. You know, we need a tax base, and this would be an ideal place to have it. And I think, you know, instead of having dollar stores and storage places, we need to revitalize this area. And I don't want to go back to the bad old days where these apartments are going to be occupied by people that we're not really don't want to have in there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Citizen Forum still open.
If you would like to make a comment at this time, please press *9 now or raise your hand by clicking on the raised hand icon. Mayor, we don't have any other previously submitted comments. The only other comment that has not yet been read into the record is the one for tab M, which we have tabled, and there are no hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. Council reports. Let's start with District 3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to welcome on board again our newly elected Councilwoman, Cassandra Timothy. So it's a pleasure to have you on board, and this is your first official meeting. Welcome. We miss you, Carol. When I looked in and I didn't see you, we still miss you, Carol. Also want to just recognize and so grateful to this administration that recognized Juneteenth as a federal holiday. So I'd just like to, and also want to thank you, Madam City Manager, for doing your best with the short notice to observe it in the best way that you could, and allowing some employees to observe it. So thank you. Thank you for that. I'd like to publicly thank FarmShare and MDJ and all of those volunteers that volunteered for our
MJD.
What did I say?
It's MJD.
MJD, thank you. For all of those who volunteer in our regular distribution drive that we have at Griffin, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the partnership of Board Member Dorothy Mendengal and also Representative Christopher Benjamin that was also present. Thank you. I'd also like to thank all of those all the residents that took the time to come out to our induction ceremony, all of the elected officials that actually came out and supported all of us publicly. I just want to thank you, especially Congresswoman Fujiko Wilson. And I believe that that's all of the comments that I'd like to say. And I'd like to just say happy 4th of July to everyone. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. That was quick. District 2.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilwoman Estimate Urban, for the welcome. I'm no stranger to these meetings. I'm just in a different role, but nonetheless, yeah, it's been an eventful time. Just wanted to invite everyone. I will be hosting a District 2 information fair on Wednesday, June 30th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library. I will have other municipal partners, state partners, federal partners involved to give out information to the residents. There we will be talking about everything from COVID, certain city departments. It's just information, because I realize, there's sometimes a barrier to information. So that is taking place Wednesday, June 30th. From 5:30 to 7:30 at the North Miami Public Library. Also, this Friday, I believe, is the last day for Miami-Dade County's rental assistance program for residents who have been coming in looking for that assistance. The last day is this Friday to apply for Miami-Dade County's rental assistance program. And the city does have a host of assistance that we're still giving out due to COVID that we'll be providing to the residents the following Wednesday. And that is it for me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. District 1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome, Councilwoman Timothy. I did notice that a application that I turned in for Michelle Vega to serve on the Charter Review Board somehow didn't make it into the packet that we had looked at a little bit later. So I've got the application on hand. I think that must mean that it's in the clerk's office. And if not, I'll forward it, but I'd like to nominate Michelle, and that's a male Michelle, Michel, Michelle Vega, to the Charter Review Board.
Spell the name, Vega?
Sure. Vega, V as in Victor, E-G-A. Okay. Michelle Vega.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We'll go ahead and bring it for the next meeting, Councilman.
Oh, okay.
And District 4, Councilman Desulme, he left. Okay. Now for the board appointment, for the Board of Adjustment and the Planning Commission Board, I'd like to appoint Hector Medina to those two boards.
So which boards? Because we have them for Planning Commission.
What happened?
We have the appointment as having been for Planning Commission.
Yeah, it's Planning and Board of Adjustment.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Double check.
I have a question. I didn't realize, so I'm just want to make sure, because I have some board appointments. Are we verbally saying it again? I thought when it was added on.
It's there. You have Naomi Blamey on the Planning Commission. You have Mike McDermott on the Charter Board. Nadia Wilson on the...
What I'm asking is, did we have to, I know that it's already there. Did you want us to verbally say? Because you're verbally saying yours, and I think yours is already on there.
If you want to say it on record, it's fine, but all of them going to be equal.
As long as it is on record, I'm okay. Thank you.
And for the Nuisance Board, we have Clinton Bauer from Councilman Galvin, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Michelle Vega going to be added to it
So Mayor, how about I read to you the resolutions that we've prepared?
Oh, you have it. Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm reading this list, not the.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Board of Adjustment. Here are the applications that we received, sent, and this is going to be for all of them, but this is what we received, sent, and gotten back to you. So Board of Adjustment, a reappointment for Patricia Longchamp de Ursula from Councilwoman Estime Irvin, Blythe Pierre-Louis from Mayor Bien-Aimé, Rosalind Philippe from Councilman Desmarais. Planning Commission, Hector Medina by Mayor Bien-Aimé, Naomi Blamire, Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Charter Board, Michael McDermott, Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Community Relations Board, Nadege Del Saint, Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Personnel Board, Higo Lola, Esquire, Councilwoman Estime Irvin. Nuisance Abatement Board, Clinton Bauer, Councilman Galvin.
Okay.
May I ask a question regarding board appointments?
Yes.
So they're prepared via resolution. So what is the process for submitting your board appointment? Should it just go, do I have them submit the application
Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Yes, through the mayor. So, and I don't, the reason I'm jumping in is because I don't want to seem like we're creating a new process. So the issue we have is we got, there was an issue with everyone turning in their board appointments, getting them reviewed in time for the meeting. We have an issue where there's several boards that cannot meet because we're not meeting, because we need people on the boards. So the normal process is you will give your appointments to the clerk. The clerk will do the review of those people to make sure that they meet the requirements of those specific boards. And then she will send a request to the city attorney's office, and we will prepare a resolution that would appear on the agenda beforehand. That's the normal process. The only reason we're veering from that process today is because we really need to get some of these folks on these boards so that the boards can meet. We almost missed a planning commission meeting, and I think the Board of Adjustment meeting last month was canceled. So that's the only reason we're doing it this way. So what we're asking the council today is to take this on as an add-on to the agenda and then vote on all the folks that we've got. If this is unusual, I understand, but we really need to do it just for today. In the future, what's going to happen, you will see them on the resolution, and you will see the actual resolutions in the package. So today, just because of expediency, we're asking that you vote it this way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. You can.
If we can just get a motion to vote for everyone.
Can we add Hector Medina to the Board of Adjustment? Madam Clerk.
Well, I would have to check. So if you give me a second, I'm going to check that board right now to see the openings that are there.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, through you to the city attorney.
Yes, sir.
There used to be a provision that you could not serve on both Board of Adjustment and Planning Commission. I just wanted to see if that was still in effect, or.
That's kind of why we're asking that the appointments be made, and then we review the requirements beforehand, because that's what tends to happen is people just throw out names and then we don't know if they even meet the requirements. So if you like,
let's keep it.
Yeah, you can name whoever you like, and what we're going to do is
let's keep it to the Let's keep it to the Planning Commission. Then next week, in 2 weeks, if we have to add it, we will add it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. That's been can I have a motion to approve those names as it is?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Urban to approve the board appointments that were previously read. Seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the motion passes with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, your report.
I'm not sure. Councilman Galvin, did you report out?
Yeah, I already did. All I did was appoint Michelle Vega.
Okay, so we'll get that.
No report.
All right, so for me, yes, so for me, Councilwoman Timothy, if we can just have a discussion, because there were some people who were previously appointed and from my understanding have been great on specifically the Planning Commission because of their skill sets. And so if we could just talk about at least the District 2 representative to see if you'd like to move forward with that person, or if you wish to appoint somebody different, we could schedule a time to just have a quick chat about that. And I can also forward you that application as well. The individual, I think, reapplied to be reappointed to that position. Okay. And other than that, Mayor, I do not have anything else to report on. But
Thank you very much. That was quick. City Attorney?
No report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Madam City Manager?
No report.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Mayor Bieneme. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it is 3:42. Motion carries with a 4-0 vote.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.